Good morning. This is my view. Oh, it's so pretty. It's going to be another sunny day in San Diego. They're the little kitties. These are Maine Coon kitties. Clive and Clover. They're like 16 weeks old. Look how big they are. Freaking big. They're freaking big. Sorry. I'm dog sitting, cat sitting, maybe a little. And this is the one that's requiring assistance today, Nubs. That's not where our rough go. He's a little ornery. There's Montel. He's not ornery. This is the Wallens pool. Got a few rust spots, but it's really pretty. Hello. Take two. Oh man, so I'm at my friend's house. I'm Yoga Hippie. Welcome to my channel. If you don't know me, my name's Kristina Long and I live in my Prius and I travel around. I'm a little nomadic and I'm about to take off in a week for Fort Lauderdale and I'm super jazzed. I'm going to Florida and I'm gonna hang out there for a few, probably about 3 months and bring my new skill set. So there are things that have been a part of me for a long time, but I wanted to chat about a couple of things. One, share my new offerings. So I'm a sound healer and I'm also a yoga teacher and I offer Reiki and energy healing and let's see what else. Life coaching, but I don't like calling it that, so this is why I don't like that term, partially because everybody's a freaking life coach now, but also I don't know, I don't really like the term coaching. So I developed the term soul care. So I have soul care one-on-ones and soul care classes, group classes. So the whole basis of it is to learn self-help type things. So self-care techniques. So tapping, breath work, maybe some yoga poses. If you want to add energy work, you can have energy work. So I can send distance Reiki and also help with a lot of other things if you're interested in taking that further than just some self-care techniques. So we can talk about thinking and ways of eating, and I'm not saying anybody has to eat the way that I do, but I know a lot about food. I'm not a nutritionist. There's that disclaimer. However, I've been living holistically except for 7 years where I was just kind of batshit crazy, busy drinking and drugging after a relapse. I've been pretty holistic and healthy, and I've been studying health and wellness since the early 90s. So I was a personal trainer, and anyway, I've been obsessed with all of it for a long time. So I can help with a lot of things and a lot of ideas and tools to help make change, because I have changed my entire life. So that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. So I have these soul care options on my website now, and you can find the link to my website, KristinaLong.com, below in the description. And make sure you like my video if you like it, and subscribe for more. But also with this part of this whole thing that I'm launching, I can do it remotely anywhere I'm traveling, because you can do all these one-on-one sessions can be done via the internet or a phone call or FaceTime. So I'm pretty excited about making my travels more sustainable, but also more than anything, just helping people. So and that brings me to the second thing I wanted to discuss, which was my journey. Also, sound healing can be included in that, and those remote self-care, soul care. So I'm saying that I'm a soul care facilitator. I really like it. And so anyway, I celebrated just a couple of days ago, January 21st, 2020, I celebrated 13 years of sobriety. And it was a pretty exciting thing to celebrate because when I relapsed just about a month and a half before I was going to be 13 years sober, way back in 2001. And so I was pretty excited now that I'm past that, and so I'm sober longer now than I was the first time. So that was an exciting time for me to get past. So anyway, I've obviously been through some shit since I've been sober twice now, and I think those years in between my sobrieties was pretty gruesome. And I mean, I just started with nothing. Basically, I left my ex-husband, and I didn't take anything really. I left him the house, and I surrendered my car eventually. And anyway, I was just really a mess. And I learned finally, once I got sober, I just started practicing yoga instead of going to AA like I had done the first time. So the first time that I had been sober, I had been going to AA, and I loved it. It was great for me, but I couldn't find any classes that really helped me feel good. They all made me feel really depressed, and or meetings, I guess. And I just started going to yoga, and yoga just was making a massive impact. And my counselor at the time was totally for it, and said it could be an experiment, right? So if I didn't stay sober, I could always start going to meetings, right? And I was like, all right. So now I've been practicing yoga 13 years and have not been to any meetings really. So not been to any meetings. And that might not be everybody's path, and I totally honor everyone's path. And sometimes I think about going to meetings, but I don't know. I just practice some yoga, and I'm like usually okay. But so one of the things that I wanted to talk about just briefly is what I do when one of the things that I did was, first I got myself out of being a victim, because I was a mess and my life was a mess, and I had basically created this mess that I was living in, and I constantly had problems, whether it was wrecking my car or getting a ticket or losing my phone. Just a million things, were always going wrong in my life, and I was miserable, and it was everybody else's fault. And once I stepped out of that victim role, it was really awful. I mean, when you start taking responsibility for your life and your actions, it just really sucks. But it's necessary, and I'm really glad that I did it. So my life started to slowly change. And, I was a bartender while I was sober the first 3 years. And, it was frustrating being around drunk people like that. And, but it was also a little bit helpful, but I didn't really hang out in bars after work, because that was a temptation for me. That was definitely a trigger. So, anyway, one of the things that I've done repeatedly with a lot of things, anything that I've tried to quit, now I'm over 4 years smoke-free from cigarettes, and that's pretty exciting. But any of these things that I've quit doing, I ask myself when I have the thought about doing them. It's a real simple concept, and it's basically the basis of my sobriety. I just roll through the scenarios that could occur if I drink, So if I had a drink, and this rarely happens now after 13 years, I just really don't think ever about drinking, but occasionally, I'll have a random thought that I want to go get a beer, or whatever. And then I'm like, no. If you have a beer, then you're going to drink and drive, most likely. You could hurt yourself or kill someone, and that would be awful. And I would probably lose my phone or break it, or, lose my ID, or sleep with someone that I don't know. I mean, just like a million things, that could totally go wrong. And then I would feel so terrible, about drinking. And really, at the end of the day, I don't know. I haven't found a problem big enough to make me want to drink again, because drinking caused all the problems, It was terrible. So I'm really glad to be free of that, and I want to encourage you on your path, if you are struggling with alcoholism or drug addiction, that there are ways to get help. And I went through rehab twice, and aftercares with each one, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I saw counselors, and I did a lot of different things to help me get to where I am today. And but more than anything, I learned to love myself. So these soul care classes will help you learn to love yourself, and it just happens kind of naturally when you're taking care of yourself and you're decreasing the stress in your life. Then that transfers over into, you know, learning to love yourself, and then you have compassion for yourself, and then that extends to other people. So you forgive yourself, you forgive others, and then you love everyone. And it's really all about love. And I don't know, that's all I've got to say today. So I hope that you have a wonderful day, and hopefully I'll see you again. And maybe next time I see you, I'll be in sunny Florida, where it's like 80. Anyway, I hope you have a very great day, and peace.